After a week off, we are back in the studio for a fresh edition of Inside the Inferno. Welcome everyone, my name is Paul Schultz, and sitting beside me making her anchor debut at the desk today is Erin Herpy. Erin, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. I'm excited to be here. We've got a lot to cover on today's show, so let's jump right into it.
We'll begin with football. Last weekend, the Sun Devils traveled to Pullman and took on the Washington State Cougars. Inferno Intel's Noel Blumel recaps the action.
This past weekend, the Arizona State football team acquired their 7th loss of the season at Washington State. This was the Sun Devils' first trip to Pullman since 2015, and the Cougars wasted no time, jumping on the Devils with a 28-0 lead in the first half. The Devils were able to rally down the stretch of the second half by keeping the Cougars at 28, but would cap their points at 18. Ex-Valade proved to be a huge spark plug for the team, rushing for 134 yards on 21 carries, while Emory Jones contributed to the momentum and hit Jalen Conyers for a 47-yard catch and run on the 4th down near the end of the 4th quarter. Valade also moved into the top 100 among all-time career rushers, surpassing Tulane's Matt Forte for 92nd place with his 4,267 yards following Saturday's efforts. The team will now host the Beavers of Oregon State in their last home game of the season at 12:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And shortly after, the Devils will finish their season in Tucson as they face the Wildcats for their annual Territorial Cup match.
Thanks, Noel. Coach Aguano's team returns to Sun Devil Stadium for homecoming against number 25 Oregon State Beavers this weekend. Our reporter Blake Neiman previews the matchup.
When it comes to Oregon State football, people always seem to get the story mixed up. They think back to the days when Oregon State was mocked as one of the worst teams in the FBS. Well, the Beavers have now escaped that label and have since passed it on to Colorado. But all jokes aside, Oregon State is seriously one of the best in the conference when it comes to playing punch-mouth old-school football. Defensively, the Beavs rank top 3 in the conference in both points allowed and yards allowed per game. The Orange and Black have a secondary that makes plays on all parts of the field, with 60 passes defended on the season, which is best in the pack and 6th nationally. The DB core, filled by the likes of Ryan Cooper Jr., Rajon Wright, Alex Austin, and Jaden Grant, will make for a difficult day for Sun Devil breakout receiver Elijah Badger, in addition to any other ASU receiver who seeks to pose a deep threat. And if ASU thinks they're going to be able to go with their established run game in response to the strong secondary, think again. The Beavers are even stronger when it comes to their run defense, which has held opponents to an average of just 107.1 yards on the ground per game. That's good for first in the Pac-12. Most recently, the Beavs held Cal to a pitiful 9 rushing yards in last week's 38-10 victory over the Golden Bears. When it comes to the other side of the football, the Beavs' run offense is equally as effective as their run defense. Oregon State ranks top 5 in the Pac-12 in rushing yards per game at 190, with star freshman Damian Martinez leading the way with more than 100 rushing yards in 4 straight games, making him the first OSU true freshman to do so since the legendary Jaquiz Rogers in 2008. Oh, and let's not forget about special teams, as the Beavs have a dangerous return man in Anthony Gould, who returned his 2nd touchdown of the year last week with a 55-yard punt return to the house. Gould is the only player in the conference to return a punt for a touchdown this season and is one of just 4 nationally to return multiple. As you can see, Oregon State has all the pieces that make for a dynamic, explosive team, which is why they are top 25 in the country with 7 wins on the season. Expect Saturday to be a grueling day for the Sun Devils because the Beavers won't be planning on letting up off the gas.
Transitioning from the field to the court, Arizona State men's basketball had a strong start to the season over the past 2 weeks, capped off with a dominant victory over a ranked opponent Thursday night. Inferno Intel's Kenji Ito has the latest on Coach Bobby Hurley's squad.
After winning the Legends Classic with a close 63-59 victory against the VCU Rams and a commanding 87-62 win over the 20th ranked Michigan Wolverines, ASU has started its year with a 4-1 record. It was a rocky game against the Rams as the Sun Devils shot 36.2% from the floor and outscored them by 11 points in the second half. They changed the game plan against the 20th ranked Wolverines, shooting 60.4% overall and dominating Michigan by 25 points. Before coming into the tournament, ASU beat Tarleton State and NAU but lost to Texas Southern on the road. Frankie Collins, DJ Horn, and Warren Washington have been the top performers for ASU. Collins and Washington have been their leaders on defense, while Horn has been their top scorer on offense. Next up, the Sun Devils come back home to Tempe to face off against the Grambling State Tigers and Alcorn State Braves. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Kenji. The ASU wrestling team hosted their first home match of the year on Thursday and earned their second team victory. Annika Newland joins us in the studio to talk about the first few weeks of the season.
After a fourth-place finish at the NCAA tournament last season, the Arizona State wrestling team started its season against the number 21 Rutgers on the road. With 6 weight class wins, ASU downed the Scarlet Knights 25-16. The fifth-ranked Sun Devils returned to Tempe for their first match at the Mullet Arena on Thursday against the third-ranked Missouri Tigers. In a battle of the top two teams of the country, a strong start and pin in the final match from Colton Schultz sealed a 19-17 upset victory. Zeke Jones's squad looks to continue its hot start as they head to Pennsylvania for the Keystone Classic. Back to you guys at the desk.
Annika, thank you. Before the wrestling team hit the mat at Mullet, Sun Devil hockey had a great weekend on the ice in Tempe. Inferno Intel hockey reporter Stephen Buxton breaks down ASU's series sweep of Alaska Anchorage.
ASU hockey is coming off another good weekend at Mullet Arena, this time against Alaska Anchorage. The Sun Devils won the first game 5-2 on Friday, with goals from Ty Jackson and Jack Jensen. The team took an early 2-0 lead in the first and never looked back. Dylan Jackson, Josh Doan, and Jack Judson also had a goal each later in the game. Saturday's game had less scoring, but according to head coach Greg Powers, the team played a much better, cleaner game than the night before. Lucas Sillinger continued his great season with a power play goal in the second period, and 2 more from Ryan O'Reilly and Christopher Grando, along with another great performance from goalie TJ Septenfelter, closed out ASU's third shutout win of the season, improved their home record to 5-1, and extended their winning streak to 5 in a row. Even with their current winning streak, ASU is still not ranked. The team has received votes every week, but has still not broken into the top 20 for the USCHO rankings. The main reason could be attributed to the fact that they have only beaten one ranked opponent, North Dakota, a team currently under 500 and sitting 19th out of 20 on the rankings. The Sun Devils have the perfect opportunity coming up to prove that they should be ranked. They have back-to-back weekends up against the top 2 teams in the country, Denver and Minnesota. But first, the Sun Devils can't look ahead yet, as they head to New York this week to face Clarkson. The 2 teams played last year in Tempe, where ASU took both games against the ranked Golden Knights. Coach Greg Powers said that Clarkson has a hell of a team, and they are going to be looking to give the Sun Devils some payback for last year's losses, which probably kept the team out of the playoffs. Keep up with the team on Twitter at Sun Devil Hockey. I'm Stephen Buxton, reporting for Inferno Intel.
Thank you, Stephen. The ASU women's soccer season is over, but there was a lot to be proud of for Sun Devil fans. Cooper Hancock reflects on the highlights.
The 2022 women's soccer team season came to an end last Saturday in the first round of the NCAA tournament against number 8 seed Portland. The Pilots defeated the Devils 3-0 in Oregon. Following the loss, head coach Graham Winkworth stated that the team gave its best but was not able to play to its capabilities. As the Sun Devils look forward to the 2023 season, we can reflect on a very successful year for the Maroon and Gold. To name some, the Devils began the season with an unbeaten record after 8 games for the second time in 3 seasons. They ranked 22 nationally in goals per game with 2.24 in the NCAA tournament and finished 5th place in the league. While Winkworth and his squad prepare for the next season, the group of graduating seniors who will not return next year have other plans. Despite a disappointing end to their season, these seniors are able to look back at the marks they made on ASU soccer. With the records made by Nicole Douglas and Ava Van Dersen and consistent strong performances Alexia Delgado and Olivia Wynn, next year's team will have a new look. Congratulations to the women's soccer team on an unforgettable year. Now let's send it back to the desk.
Cooper, thank you. Sun Devil soccer certainly won't be the same next year without those seniors. Last week, Arizona State women's volleyball hosted the Washington schools for a pair of matches. After falling to number 25 Washington State, they took on the 20th ranked University of Washington Huskies. Inferno Intel volleyball reporter Carly Koskovich recaps Sunday's action.
I'm here at Desert Financial Arena, where the Sun Devils will be taking on the Washington Huskies.
For the most part, the match was very close, but at the end, the Huskies ended up winning 3 out of the 5 sets.
Good fight, good game. Wish the outcome was different. I thought that fifth set was definitely underperformance, and we need to be better when we put ourselves in the position to play against a good team.
Energy was at its peak in the fourth set with a kill from number 5, Isanovich, and then an ace from number 24, Cooper. The Sun Devils were fired up. The set concluded after a dual block from number 23, Claire Jeter, and number 18, Roberta Rebello. The Sun Devils took the fourth set. It was time for set 5. The Huskies dominated set 5, starting off with consecutive kills and blocks. Isanovic had a kill, however, it was not enough, and Washington began creating some separation.
I think we were fighting really hard. I think we were getting some really good digs, putting really good effort, and then I think in the fifth set, I think, we just, like you said, we came up a little bit short.
The Sun Devils started off strong, winning the first set. However, the game took a turn after the Huskies set a 5-1 run, taking the lead over ASU. Going into the fourth set, head coach Sonia Tomasevich knew that a change needed to be made. There was no passing going on, so she took the initiative to change the libero from number 15, Larson Newmer, to number 35, Jelly Sear. Unfortunately, after the well-fought game, the Huskies walked away victorious, and the Lady Sun Devils keep their eyes on improving before they hit the road this week to face Cal Berkeley. I'm Carly Koskovich, reporting your Sun Devil Volleyball.
That's all the time we have for today's show. Be sure to follow our social media at Inferno Intel for updates throughout the week.
Our reporters are always hard at work, so you can check out packages right here on YouTube and our digital stories on infernointel.com.
For Paul Schultz and the rest of our team, I'm Erin Herpy saying so long. Thanks for joining us on Inside the Inferno.